Yeah, I met my wife in Miami.
Really?
Yeah, she was living there.
Damn. Who says you can't meet your wife in Miami?
But you can find your wife in many places there.
You hear that? Put that on Only in Date on
You gotta
Instagram.
be-
You can meet your wife in Miami.
Alright, let's go.
Put it on Only in Date. It's hilarious.
Every year.
Good day, fight fans, and welcome to The Pressure Point. Ilia Topuria just confirmed the breakup everyone's been whispering about, and it's got people losing their minds. Could this be the moment the calm, calculated killer turns into a ruthless machine with something to prove? Or is his silence saying there's way more to this story than anyone realizes? Because if Ilia's stepping into that cage carrying this kind of weight on his chest, the next walkout isn't gonna be normal. It's gonna be personal. And whoever signs that contract next might be walking straight into a storm they can't survive. Want the full breakdown? What's real? What's rumor? And how this whole mess could flip the division overnight? Then stay locked in because it's about to get wild. It all started with something tiny that hit like a punch to the gut. Fans noticed first. The photos were gone, one by one, deleted from his page. And then hers. Old pictures, cute captions, those little couple moments everyone had double tapped for years. Gone, like they never existed. No message, no statement, just silence and empty space where a whole love story used to live. And that's the thing about the internet. When the posts disappear, the questions explode. Did they fight? Did something big go down? Is this just a break or a full breakup? Nobody close to them said a word, but the timing made it sting way worse.
So this is Ilia Topuria's wife, with another dude. Yes, this wife. Well, I guess the Milk Boys are right. Who the thought it would be a good idea to get with the wife of one of the best MMA fighters in the world right now? Like, I don't know how bad she is. She'd be prime Megan Fox. I still wouldn't do that shit. Honestly, I think the wife did him a favor by cheating on him.
Then came the bomb. So this is Ilia's wife with another dude? Yep, his wife. And suddenly people were saying, the Milk Boys were right. Whoever thought it was a good idea to mess with the wife of one of the most dangerous MMA fighters on the planet? Like, it doesn't even matter how bad she is. She could look like Megan Fox, and I still wouldn't cross that line. That's wild. Honestly, some people say she did him a favor by cheating on him, but that's cold. Ilia had been shining inside the cage, smiling through interviews, walking around like nothing could touch him. But when those couple pictures disappeared, fans knew right away something serious had changed. Screenshots started flying around, people writing long threads like they had the inside scoop. Comment sections turned into full-blown wars. Everyone acting like they were in the room when it happened. But the truth, nobody knew anything. All anyone really had was silence. And that silence hit louder than any headline ever could. Sometimes the quiet tells you more than words ever will. It lets your mind fill in every blank. And when the man in question is one of the scariest fighters alive, that silence starts to sound dangerous. The story shifts from, are they okay, to, what's he gonna do when he steps back into the cage? That's why the missing photos mattered. Not because social media runs people's lives, but because it was the only clue anyone had left to hold on to. To really get why fans cared this much, you gotta remember how people saw their love. From the outside, it looked strong, simple, untouchable. Ilia had told that easy feel-good story about meeting her in Miami. It sounded like a movie scene. Two people crossing paths in a city full of lights and noise. Everyone wanted to believe it was real. They were building a quiet life behind all the bright lights, staying low while his name blew up everywhere. As Ilia's fame grew and the cameras started chasing him, he kept his family life tucked away, not like a secret, but like something worth protecting. That's what made people love them even more. When a fighter's private world looks solid, fans think it explains that unshakable calm they see inside the cage. He's locked in because he's grounded, people would say. So when the couple's trail suddenly went cold online, it hit different. It felt like his anchor was slipping away. This wasn't just some gossip story about a breakup. It was about a champion built on discipline and control. Fans couldn't help but wonder, if that calm breaks, does he fall apart or turn into something even more dangerous? They remembered the soft smiles, those hand-in-hand moments, and they couldn't stop thinking, would the storm outside finally crack the ice inside? That's why everyone leaned in. It wasn't only about drama, it was about who Ilia is at his core. And of course, the internet did what it always does, turned full-on detective mode. People started comparing old screenshots to new ones, digging through tagged photos, checking who followed who. The tiniest details became massive clues. Then came the talk. Did he have mercy? Someone asked. Well, honestly, another said, he couldn't have mercy because the guy who was supposed to stop the fight never did it. And then came that raw line. So if one's gotta go down, it's not gonna be my guy. Oh man, that's pure trash talk energy right there. This is wild.
Did you have mercy?
Well, honestly, he couldn't have mercy because the guy that was supposed to stop the fight never did it. So
Right.
if one needs to die, it's not gonna be my guy.
Oh my gosh. I like this. This is a little trash talking here. This is nice.
People started reading every caption, every emoji like they were hidden codes in a mystery novel. Some said it was just a pause, a cool down, maybe a little time out. Others swore it looked final, like the end of something big. A few voices tried to stay chill, telling everyone to relax, to wait for a real statement, to stop guessing. But even the calm ones couldn't stop checking back. That's the thing about mystery. It pulls you in over and over even when there's no proof. Soon, fans began building stories out of scraps. A gym selfie with a sharper look in his eyes. A training clip with a darker song. A post about focus and legacy. Were those just normal updates? Or hidden messages? Nobody knew, but that's exactly how rumors grow. When there's no answer, every tiny thing feels like a clue. It's not fair, but it's real, and that's the internet for you. All that guessing kept spinning, but one thing never changed. Neither of them ever confirmed a breakup. The closest thing anyone had to truth was the silence.
Anybody get under your skin? Does anybody get under your skin? Somebody that knows to say something that triggers. You see, your face is saying something though.
I think the only person is my wife. She's the only person.
Cold, heavy, silence. The fan base just sat there staring at two blank profiles, waiting for a single sentence that still hasn't come. And while everyone kept watching those empty pages, a new question started rising. What does heartbreak do to a fighter? Because not everyone reacts the same. Some fighters freeze up. They overthink. They lose that calm flow that keeps them seeing punches before they land. For some fighters, heartbreak burns them out. But for others, it lights a fire so hot it's unstoppable. It becomes the reason to wake up before the sun, to run longer, to hit the bag harder, to sharpen every habit until it cuts like a blade. Pain can scream loud at home, but in the gym, it turns quiet, simple even. Lift, drill spar, breathe. When everything around you hurts, the grind becomes the only place that makes sense. The cage turns into the one spot where you can let all that pain flow through you and out. It's not magic, it's pure discipline, focus, and the hunger to prove something to yourself. Fans call it breakup power, like it's some kind of super move. But really, it's stubbornness turned into fuel. It's that mindset that says, I won't break, I'll build. And if Ilia's that second type, the builder, then this next camp could be something different altogether. We're talking more mental work, more film study, more patience in bad spots, cleaner defense, sharper exits, and nastier, meaner shot selection.
Why are you saying that?
Huh?
Why are you
What?
saying that?
Everyone
Like,
says that.
Because you go to the party and this is the only place
Yeah.
you see. Like you don't know the another part of Miami or people that just they want.
normal.
Yeah.
Best place to work out too, Miami, because you can just walk outside and run, the water.
When a fighter walks out carrying heartbreak but keeps those eyes clear and focused, you feel it before the first punch even lands. The bounce in the feet changes, the shoulders loosen up, the gaze turns steady and cold. That's when heartbreak stops being pain and starts becoming a weapon, built one tiny, stubborn choice at a time. Meanwhile, the reaction machine went into overdrive. Suddenly, clips were everywhere. Wild titles, red arrows, circled screenshots, shocked faces. Old interviews resurfaced, podcasts got clipped, every word twisted to fit the new rumor. People grabbed sound bites and added new meanings like puzzle pieces that didn't even fit. Joe Rogan's name got dragged into it too, because when he speaks, the MMA world listens. Even when he was just talking generally about fighters, fans threw his words straight into the drama. That doesn't mean everyone's lying. It just means the internet moves fast, way faster than the truth. Online, speed comes first, certainty comes later. So you end up with 10 versions of the same story, all shouted loud enough to sound real. The key is simple. Pay attention to the noise, notice the tone, but don't mistake reaction for proof. Because if Ilia really wanted to confirm or deny anything, he could shut the whole thing down with one sentence. Until that moment comes, all those flashy edits and wild clips are just waves crashing on the shore. They make noise, they stir the sand, but they're not the tide. The real question now is, what does a charged up Ilia look like inside that cage? Start with what he already has. Clean, crisp footwork that keeps him safe while still pressing forward. Sharp hands that find the chin without wasting motion or throwing wild. Smart level changes that freeze opponents just long enough for him to strike. A nasty body shot that sucks the air right out of your lungs and out of your game plan. Plus that ice-cold calm only fighters born for chaos seem to have. Now imagine adding heartbreak-fueled focus to all of that. Suddenly the details sharpen up like never before. The jab turns into a measuring stick, checking distance down to the inch. The feints start pulling real reactions. His defense starts happening before the opponent even throws. And you can bet those counters get meaner. The kind that flip an opponent's best move into their biggest mistake. And if his takedown chain's ready, a heavy mood could make him brutal on top. Slow hips, crushing pressure, elbows that make you rethink your life choices. That's not just fighting anymore. That's controlled destruction fueled by emotion. It's not about swinging wild just because you're mad. It's about choosing cold, mean, high-percentage shots and landing them again and again until the other man breaks. That's the terrifying version. A storm that looks calm and sunny until the lights suddenly go out. So who should be sweating right now? Anyone signing a contract anywhere near his weight class better watch their back, because this isn't a friendly neighborhood anymore. It's a danger zone. Technical strikers who like to download data for 2 rounds? Bad matchup. He doesn't give you clean reads. Every movement's a trap. The brawlers hoping to drag him into chaos, he'll take one smooth step back, plant his feet, and make your chaos cost you everything. Wrestlers who plan to grind him down. If his base is solid and his balance locked in, they'll waste all their gas just trying to keep him still for a few seconds at a time. And those counter-snipers waiting for one mistake. Good luck, he barely shows any, and when he does slip up, he hides it fast, patching holes mid-fight like a technician under fire. That's what makes him dangerous. It's not that he's unbeatable, it's that he's a puzzle that looks simple until you're trying to solve it while he's punching you in the face. Every fighter can lose. Styles make fights, and one perfect shot can flip everything. But a focused Ilia, that's a nightmare wrapped in precision. Add Heartbreak to the mix. That hunger to prove, rebuild, and send a message. And suddenly the first 3 minutes of every round turn into pure danger. If you don't break his rhythm early, you might not get another chance at all. Now, keeping it real, what do we actually know? We know people notice changes on social media. We know fans turn that into a whole story. And we know neither Ilia nor his partner have said a single on-record word about it. That's the full list of solid facts. Everything else is noise, but that noise still matters. It shows where the crowd's eyes are and what the audience wants to understand. It just means we've got to stay sharp and not confuse curiosity with truth. Real life ain't a highlight reel, and relationships aren't scorecards. 2 people can take time apart and come back stronger, or they can end things quietly with respect and never post a single word about it online. So while everyone's out here breaking down training clips, decoding song lyrics, and chasing secret messages, it's time to admit something. We don't know. What we can talk about is what happens when a focused, elite athlete deals with pain the only way he knows how. By putting in the work, early mornings before the world wakes up, long drills that burn your lungs, team meetings, film study, clean food, hard sleep, the rest, that's theirs to keep. Inside a camp heavy with emotion, the routine gets stripped down to the basics. No overthinking, just rhythm. Wake up, hydrate, move, stretch, breathe. Warm up the small muscles that keep everything steady. The neck, the ankles, the hips, the shoulders. Then it's time to pad up. Every strike is thrown with purpose, not just speed. Short, mean combinations that end with body shots or low kicks that paint the thigh purple. Every hit is a message. When it's time to go live, the pace hits that perfect balance. Hard enough to test, smart enough to last. Wrestling days, they're about building a wall. Fighting for underhooks, winning head position, controlling the corners, making the cage your best friend. Grappling days are about sticking like glue. Hip pressure, chest low, making your opponent carry your weight until they start to break. Conditioning, brutal and sharp. Sprints, bike rounds, bag intervals, and those final 30 seconds, all bite, no mercy. That's where the fighter's mindset is forged. In the exhaustion, in the push past comfort. Add in the mental work, breathing drills that drop the heart rate in seconds, trigger words that snap the focus back into place, and you start to see what pain looks like when it's turned into power. And there's one simple rule: score first in every exchange. Pain doesn't get to take the wheel. It just rides in the back while the plan drives forward. Before a fight built from a camp like this, you can feel the difference in the air. It's not loud, it's sharp. The locker room has a strange kind of quiet. The music hits softer. The coach's voice cuts through every thought, and every move in the warm-up looks precise, exact, locked in. There's no need for yelling, no fake hype. The fire's already burning deep. The tape around the wrists feels like armor, not tape. The first pop of the gloves on the pads cracks like thunder. Sharp, clean, final. And those eyes, locked on the pad holder like nothing else exists. The walk to the cage isn't a show, it's a march. Calm, steady, ready. The lights don't scare him anymore. They belong to him now. Inside the cage, every move tells a story. That first jab lands, and if he sees the doubt flicker across his opponent's face, boom, the plan unfolds like a map. If the other man charges forward, the pivot's waiting. If the clinch locks up, the head position fight starts, and those knees start carving lines across the body like a marker slicing through paper. Between rounds, the stool talk stays tight. One cue for defense, one for offense, one mission. Keep him guessing. There's nothing wild to prove, only control to maintain. That's what makes it scary. Heavy emotions turning into clean execution. That's how storms become strategy, how pain becomes focus. It's about what pressure does to someone who already breathes it every single day. Ilia built his whole name on control. Tight defense, clean shots, calm eyes that never blink. But now the world's watching, wondering, will pain shake that control or will it sharpen it? We don't have a statement and we don't have a tidy answer. What we do have is a fighter who's always turned hard moments into harder work. And that's the part you can trust when the cage door closes. In there are no rumors, no noise, no theories, just choices. Step in, draw a reaction, make him pay. If Ilia walks in with that quiet fire burning steady, the first 60 seconds will tell you everything. If he's calm, that's a message. If he's meaner, that's a message too. Either way, the truth always shows up where it matters most, inside the fight. So when he makes that walk, watch closely. Watch the jab, the footwork, the small adjustments between exchanges. That's where the real story hides. Forget the gossip, forget the posts. The cage is where the truth speaks loudest, because when it's over, we won't just know who won. We'll know what kind of man Ilia Topuria really is. And that is all from Pressure Point today. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like, subscribe, share, and drop a comment letting us know which story stood out to you most. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.